robots moving with speed and precision that almost seem to defy physics. They told us, Nick, that this kind of technology was decades away, but they were wrong. And today we're talking about some of the world's biggest 2025 robot expos in China and Japan to uncover the machines that are about to change everything. And these 7 breakthroughs prove that the future is already here, and it is absolutely wild.
So for years, we've seen humanoid robots that were a little clumsy. They're fascinating science research projects, but they never felt like a real true glimpse of the future. But that has all changed. At massive events like the World Robot Conference in Beijing, International Robot Exhibition, IRX in Tokyo, the world's biggest, best engineers are finally showing off the new generation of machines. These aren't just small updates. These are huge leaps forward in AI movement and dexterity. We sorted through a sea of circuits and sensors to find the 7 most shocking breakthroughs, from robot artists to factory workers, to rideable beasts and skyscraper-sized mechs. These robots aren't just coming for our jobs, they're coming to show us what is possible.
First up is a robot that got the entire industry talking. Meet the Astrobot S1. And Nick, this robot is really, really fast. So for those who are just listening, we're going to describe the robots. For those who are watching on YouTube or the clips, you can see we're sharing images of the robots. But don't you worry, for those listening, you're going to get all the details. So in the demo at the expo, this Astrobot S1 looked completely unreal. And it was able to yank a tablecloth from under a stack of wine glasses so fast the wine glasses didn't even move. We're talking like magician stuff here, Nick. This Stardust Industries is the creator, and it claims that the arms can hit a top speed of 33 feet per second, a velocity that most humans can't touch. And it's not just about speed, it's about control. So in some of the recent demos, the S1 showed off its delicate side. It can write complex calligraphy. It can even shave a cucumber with terrifying precision. And what makes this possible is a new AI learning that learns by watching humans and then autonomously copying them. So the Astrobot claims that the S1 operates fully autonomously, a major shift from other demos that often rely upon a person who is secretly controlling a robot, whether they be with like a VR headset in the background or so on. Not the S1, fully controlled. So while some experts are skeptical, the progress is undeniable. And the company plans to start selling it for research, commercial purposes by the end of this year. So this means that this lightning-fast apprentice could soon be learning tasks in our kitchens and our factories. What do you think of this robot, Nick?
Look at the hands. Look at those cameras or sensors on there. Remember, we were talking on a previous cast about the touch sensors are so hard for hands, right? I don't know. I'm just looking at this animation here, but I think that's how they're solving the touch sensors. I don't think maybe there are touch sensors, maybe there aren't. But to understand what the hand is holding, look at how they have those cameras there. It's kind of an interesting way to do it.
It is. So for those listening, this robot has a different, this company approached hands of a robot differently. It looks like there's basically 2 clamps. There's not like 5 fingers and thumbs. There's basically 2 clamps that kind of look like, I don't know, a crab almost would be how I describe it. And then there is cameras on each side. So this might be a more efficient way to do robot hands. It's really interesting, their approach here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely simpler. Hands with touch sensors is just unreal complicated. And like, you could build a prototype of that and have it working pretty easily. You know, I wonder if that's what the first generation of humanoid robots are going to look like. They're going to just kind of give up on hands and just ship little lobster claws for the first gen. So you said it can shave a cucumber with terrifying precision.
Yes, calligraphy. It can write calligraphy.
Maybe the first use case for this will be circumcisions.
Okay. It could. I could automate that. Boy.
We should contact Astrobot and let them know about that idea.
Some other use cases that could really work well with this type of robot, one that's got speed, precision, and dexterity, could be meal preparation. So the demonstrations have shown that the S1 is peeling vegetables like cucumbers, can flip food in a frying pan, and pour liquids with high precision. It could also do laundry and organization and perhaps other delicate chores ironing, watering plants, opening bottles. So there's a lot of advantages to this S1. That's why it got turning heads. From a commercial and hospitality use cases, food service, perhaps retail, like organizing inventory and shelves and packing. And then it could also be used in healthcare, not just for elderly care, but like I think they call cognitive engagement would be the use case where they're acting as social companions for the elders. And then also research and development, right? So a lot of universities and AI firms could learn by the imitation learning here. It's a really exciting one. The hands here are going to be the most innovative out of all the robots. And I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens to this robot.
This looks like it could, they don't, it doesn't look like they're taking enormous risks with this, which could mean that they're able to ship when others can't. This looks great.
It's going to be so amazing which one of these robots has the most success, because I truly don't know. Maybe they all will. I don't know. But we're going to learn a lot as the competition steepens, because there are a lot more robots out there. So, Nick, let's kick it over for robot number 2.
Boston Dynamics, for over a decade, they've been the one that has been kind of showing the world that robotics is possible. They've been in research for a long time. If you guys remember the Big Dog, where they had that video they put out of this 4-legged robot where the researchers were kicking it and it was recovering, right? That like opened people's eyes, like, holy crap, robotics might be happening. So they eventually took all of that research development and made a humanoid. And this was the hydraulic atlas from Boston Dynamics. It was the undisputed king of humanoids and famous for its parkour and backflips. This year they retired that legend, though. I remember that. It was so surprising because they had done so much research. They did this big announcement, they're retiring the hydraulic atlas. And then the very next day, Boston Dynamics released their electric atlas in this really creepy, funny video. It looked like it was from another world, basically. The thing was laying on the ground, all sprawled out, and then in a very like out of a horror movie almost way, it stands up perfectly and then turns its head around. It can swivel its head 360 degrees, and I think it turned its torso around too. Yeah, you're playing that video. It's so amazing.
Yeah,
this one here. Do you remember seeing this?
It's crazy. For the listeners, this robot does look like a humanoid. The head is kind of different. It looks like it has, how would you describe this head, Nick?
It's cute. It's like kind of like one giant eyeball, but not in an intimidating way. I think it's a visually clever way to do it, where it's clear that that's a head and it's looking forward, but it's not trying to mimic a human face too much. And there's a lot of room in there for sensors and cameras.
Yeah, so for the listeners, it is like a big circular lens. It looks like a big camera lens, if you will, the size of someone's head, with a light around it and antenna in the back. It almost looks like a Pixar robot.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I think they struck a good balance of futuristic, but kind of like cute and friendly, but not overly so.
I think so too. And Boston Dynamics, as you said, has been a leader in this category.
Yeah.
And the mobility that their robots have is what it stands out.
Yes.
And they still continue to advance on this.
Yes.
It's really, really impressive.
They also have the Spot robot dog that has that big arm that can grab things. And that was actually a product that they shipped that you could buy. But the shift to electric, for a while, you had to do hydraulic. That was the only way you could get the power density. And those old hydraulic robots, they actually had I think it was a little diesel engine running on them to power the hydraulic pump and all the electronics. Now they're able to switch over to fully electric, all battery powered, and they're now seeing it's a way more efficient way to do it. They're able to get more power. They're able to be more agile, and they've shown them working in an automotive setting, autonomously identifying moving large parts, and uses a machine learning vision model, so it doesn't need to be reprogrammed for every little action, like all of these robots, right? While competitors are still teaching the robots to walk, Boston Dynamics has built a machine that just walks, that doesn't just walk, it flows. I mean, this thing, you should watch the videos of the parkour it does. It's incredible. Really, I'm sure you've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they get the award for the best robot backflip. I don't know if we've seen the Tesla Optimus do a backflip yet, but I'm sure it probably can. But on to that, let's get into the breakthrough number 3, robot number 3. And this is going to be the budget one, the Unitree G1 humanoid robot. And it is planning on retailing for $16,000, which is considerably cheaper than some of the other ones. And that has been a hurdle for humanoids and robotics, has been the cost, which is usually like more expensive than a car. But if they can really get the cost down and deliver this, that's going to make it a really big game changer and really strengthen the business case for this robot to be purchased in use cases. So now for the price of like a budget car, you can get a robot with a lot of serious flexibility. So in its debut videos, the G1 is shown getting beaten with sticks and kicked over only to pop right back up. It can even fold in half into a tiny box and be transported. So it's got like a lot of flexibility and cool controls. There is a Unitree robot running around Austin, Texas called the Rizbot, which is quite entertaining. It folds up, which is cool. There's an image of it folded up here, so you can kind of lift it. It's a smaller robot. But it can walk. It can walk kind of fast. It's not that slow. So it walks at about 6.5 feet per second. And has dexterity in the hands, and it can open a soda. They're kind of famous Unitree for robot dogs, but now they're in a race with companies like Tesla to be like some of the first to really mass produce humanoids. So while this G1 is smaller and lighter than some of the rivals, its price point makes it accessible to a lot of business and researchers. It's designed as a platform for others to build on, so it's also pretty versatile. Now, as for some of the use cases that I think this G1 would really work well with, it would work well actually with education. So education being, classroom training, because it is pretty affordable, teaching students about robotics and perhaps programming, this would be a really good robot for that. It would also be good for perhaps assembly lines. So like a small scale stuff that's not too heavy. It could certainly do some lifting, some picking and placing, some sorting, perhaps quality inspection. And it could even be used for security and monitoring, which is a really interesting use case, Nick. We could do a whole episode. We could do a whole episode because the Unitree is equipped with a 360-degree vision system and infrared sensors. And the G1 is being tested for autonomous patrolling, guarding corporate offices and restricted area, search and rescue. It's a small frame, right? It can fold and make it easier to get into deploy it into tight, hazardous environments where maybe a full-size humanoid might struggle. Interesting use cases, great price point. It caught people's eyes. I think people are going to be talking about it. What do you think of the Unitree, Nick?
You said it'd be great. All the examples you just gave, you said it'd be great for education. And of course, what you mean is what you said, which, for college students studying robotics. But for whatever reason, my mind immediately went to like what, a substitute teacher?
You remember so we're showing our age here, Nick, but when we would get substitute teachers, they would roll in the TV with the VCR and they would basically start playing a video and we would sit there and watch a video. Now they're just going to be like, all right, here's your teacher. And they just roll in a Unitree and it teaches the whole class.
I think it'd be intimidating.
Maybe. AI tutors and teachers are making a lot of really promising strides. Perhaps combine it with robotics, it could make some sense. Because it would also be, a surveillance thing too, which is different than kids just using AI on their laptop, because it would actually be a physical robot embodied with AI that would also be surveilling and making sure they're, not messing around, I guess.
Man, why is this thing drinking all the coffee in the teacher's lounge? Like, where does it put it?
It can solder, it can weld, it can do karate.
Yeah, intimidating substitute teacher, I'm telling you. Karate.
Intimidating substitute teacher for sure.
Yeah, right, this thing's cool. Like, it's actually shipping. It's not just as the cheapest, right?
Yes.
It's shipping. You can buy these things. And there are tech companies that are buying this and running their own software, running their own motion software, and whatever else. Like you mentioned, the Rizbot, right?
Yep.
That's the big difference between this and a lot of others. This one's shipping and you can buy it and it's not that expensive, right? Unitree is an interesting company. They're really not all that old. And I'm impressed with their ability to put things together and ship.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see how this comes together. Let's go over to robot number 4 for you, Nick.
Yes, the Figure 1, the factory worker of the future. So it's fun, of course, to talk about all the in-home robots, right? Because that's what we get. We, as consumers, we want something in the home. But of course, there are markets where it'd be extremely valuable to have a humanoid robot. And of course, one of those is manufacturing. And out of the gate, almost, Figure had a deal with BMW. It was shocking how quickly they went from forming the company to in factories at BMW actually doing real work. And And this looks like it's maybe a little bit more than just a pilot. Like, they're taking this seriously. This is not just kind of a play, let's see how it works. Like, they were able to step in and improve the efficiency of the BMW factory. And what's so interesting about use cases like factory work versus an in-home robot is that's a controlled environment, right? Where you know exactly what it is you need to do, and it's repeating the same thing over and over. And this is a customer that could pay a lot of money, right? And so we're actually going to see a lot of humanoid robots in industries like manufacturing. That may be the best initial market for them. And what was the home robot that launched a couple weeks ago? The real cute looking one with the two eyes. You remember that, Peter? Neo, right? Home robot, soft, whatever. Just this last week, they announced, well, we got a contract with a manufacturing company, right? It's like, not a big surprise. Yeah, everyone wants a home robot, but like there are paying customers with a lot of cash that have problems to solve. The Figure One, I think it's a beautiful robot. Like I said, pilot program started at BMW manufacturing plant in the United States. It's not just a lab demo, real world deployment. And in January 2024, Figure announced a commercial agreement with BMW to use humanoids for difficult, unsafe, and tedious jobs in car manufacturing, car production, which we know there are lots of. Recent videos show Figure One robot in training on a factory-like floor, autonomously moving car parts. And what makes Figure One so promising is its AI. Their team is incredible. They have hired some incredible people. The founder, Brett, his last company, or 2 companies ago, actually, was a tech recruiting firm. So he's probably really exceptional at finding really great people. And some of those folks are the ones building the software and the AI. It doesn't need to be programmed for every single step. It learns on the job and can self-correct, which is really important. Figure reports it stands 1.67 meters tall. I don't know what that means. I'm an American. How tall is that? Well, that's like 5 foot something, right?
Yeah. I think meters around 3 feet or so. So it's a little smaller than most humans, but it's about the same size.
Okay, you want to keep these things a little smaller than humans, just so we have a little bit of an edge over them, right?
I would think so.
60 kilograms. What is that, like, 90 pounds?
I think
that's like 120 pounds.
It's going to be a little lighter, but it's going to be comparable to human shape. It's going to be human shape to work in human places.
Okay. Yeah. It can carry a payload of 20 kilograms or about 35 pounds for 5 hours. Okay. That's cool. Like, I don't know if I could do that, right? Jesus, I need a break every 15 minutes carrying this crap around. And because, like you said, because it's human shaped, it can work in spaces made for people. That's the big thing with humanoid robots. You could say, well, this is not the most efficient form. Well, they plug straight into the current world. And this does really signal the age of robotic coworker. It's beginning. We're going to be working alongside robots like the Figure. What do you think, Peter?
I think this is the best looking robot I've ever seen.
I agree.
And maybe it's the marketing they do, because their marketing videos on their website are really, really impressive. But this robot, for those that are listening, like, it looks like almost like an astronaut in a sense, but like, because it's got the head of it is really, really cool. It's got almost like a Star Wars type of look to it, or something like that. Like, like a space suit kind of look to it. Like it's from outer space, and it's got this black and fabric design. It's got hands that mimic human hands with the fingers. It's such a sleek looking robot. I really hope they're successful with the BMW use case. It sounds like they already are. They've raised a ton of money from some very big people. We've reported on this in some other podcasts. Make sure you go check those out, where we talk about Figure in more detail. But these companies are quickly becoming, valued of over $1 billion and raising hundreds of millions of dollars in each round, if not $1 billion in a round. So it's going to be so incredible to watch the progress with the amount of funding and talent that goes into these companies.
Yeah. What they're using these robots for in the BMW factories is removing the turn signals from all the cars. Because they did a study, they found that BMW drivers never use their turn signals.
Okay, that's a joke. That's pretty good. What
do we got next?
All right. Next is going to be my favorite one. It's going to be the most ridiculous one, but also quite possibly my favorite one. And it's from Kawasaki. And this is a goat robot.
This thing.
Yes. So this is a Kawasaki Bex. BEX, and it is a rideable robo goat. And what this looks like is it looks like a large mountain goat, similar to, I think it's called the Beerix, I want to say, is what it's named after. So this was at the robot exhibition in Tokyo. So Kawasaki, company known for its motorcycles, unveiled something truly unexpected. This rideable goat robot. Its name Bex. It's got 4 legs. Okay, so it's different than these other bipedal robots. This is a 4-legged machine, and it's modeled after the ibex, which is a species of wild mountain goat. And it's designed for pure practicality. It's built to carry a payload of around 220 pounds. It is perfect for hauling material in a construction site, and it can walk over rough terrain with its 4 legs. And here's the clever part, Nick. If you look at this robot, it's got 4 legs, but what it also has is right kind of at the kneecap of this robot is that on flat ground, it'll crouch down, and the set of wheels is right at its kneecap, so then it can roll around. Yes, so not only can it walk on 4 legs, but it can collapse into its kneecaps like a transformer, and then there's wheels that it can wheel around at to get like a move a lot quicker, because it doesn't actually move very fast when it's on 4 legs. So it's incredibly unique, and its engineers explain that Bex grew out of their program for disaster relief robots. And not only does it look like a goat, but you can ride this goat. I mean, the picture we have on screen right now is of a human sitting on this large goat-shaped robot, riding it around. It's amazing. And it looks quirky, but it could represent maybe a new category of robots where it's bridging the gap between all-terrain and mobility. So I think it's a cool idea. Is it silly? Is it a gimmick? Time will tell. But if there is good use cases for hauling heavy cargo in difficult terrain, whether it be construction sites or farms or forestry, right? Transporting harvest crops, fertilizers, or wood through narrow passages, there could be some real use cases for this. It could also be used for inspection because it has cameras and sensors, and it can wheel itself around. So it could be used to navigate industrial plants or power stations to check for gas leaks, heat signatures. It can be used also for remote monitoring, right? Its ability to switch between stable walking and fast wheeling makes it ideal for patrolling like a large perimeter that would kind of have both paved or unpaved roads. So perhaps there's patrolling, someone's trying to run away, they get off the pavement, can't outrun the goat. You can't outrun the goat. And the other use case is it could just be for straight mobility. People could just want to buy this to ride it for fun. Maybe leisure and tourism. Like you could do a walking tour of a lot of cities. Right now, there's walking tours where they do them on scooters, but you could do them now on this. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, really. People would sign up for that.
I would love to have one of these just to roll up to like a wedding in.
Totally. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention the past couple minutes because I've been looking on the Kawasaki website and how to order this thing. I need one immediately.
I just imagine you pulling up to a restaurant valet with this. Excuse me, can you park my goat?
100%. Use it once and it's like, yeah, okay, that was funny.
Yeah. Now
Let's donate this to Goodwill.
They might need a better saddle though. It does look a bit.
Looks a little rough.
It looks a little like it could crush your nuts pretty good.
Yeah.
It appears to be a woman riding this in the demo.
Yeah. They figured that out.
It's got some engineering challenges there. I think it's hilarious. It's entertaining. I'm glad that we're not all making the same type of robot. That companies are taking risks because this could really work, or it could totally fail and just be a gimmick. But we're talking about it, so
the reality is that 4-legged robots may like this is displaying some technology in a funny way, right? But militaries that is a use case for 4-legged robots, right? And so maybe they're doing this kind of funny, silly thing to showcase the tech, but maybe there are real use cases for this. Maybe the tour companies would buy this. I mean, I could see that. It's just I don't know if that can justify all the manufacturing costs that would go into actually building these things, but. Yeah, we'll see different companies try different form factors, and some of them may be 4-legged like this.
Yeah, like Boston Dynamics has a really good 4-legged. Is it Spot? I want to say it's called.
Yeah, the Spot, that yellow dog with the arm. It's pretty cool.
It is a faster robot. It's small but quick and kind of terrifying in a way because it's so agile and quick. You could just feel like if this thing's running after you, it's like it might be game over. But the innovation here with Bex is you can ride it. Now, are people going to want to ride it? I don't know. We'll see.
I do.
All right, let's get into the next one, which is even more ridiculous. The next
Yes,
one is
it
even
is.
more ridiculous.
The real life mech suit from Tsubame? How do you say that? Do you know how to say that? Tsubame
I think
Industries.
it's Tsubame, Tsubame, Tsubame.
Archaxe. So this is like, I mean, the thing looks really cool, especially if you're an 8-year-old boy. This is like a cool fantasy out of anime, out of like, you know, Transformers, right? Yeah, maybe it's silly, right? But okay, let's see what we got here, and maybe there are some wealthy individuals that'd be interested in buying one of these things just to have as a toy. So anyone who grew up watching giant robot anime, like, this one is for you. This is your dream come true. This is in Tokyo. A startup called Tsubame Industries unveiled Archaxe. It's a 15-foot tall, 3.5-ton piloted robot. It looks like it walks straight out of a movie. I mean, it really does. It looks like Transformers. It looks like CGI, but that's real. And you can actually buy it. For about $3 million, you can pilot your very own giant mech. The Archaxe has a cockpit in the chest, just like, you know, these anime. Look at this thing, just like we've seen, or like Matrix Revolutions or whatever, right? In the cockpit,
You remember
has joysticks and pedals.
You remember the machine they used? I think it was in Aliens.
Yes.
I wanna say. It looks like
Yeah.
that. For those listening, it looks like a giant transformer. Or if you remember the movie Aliens, where I think it's Aliens, not Alien. It's the second one where she hops in that giant like robot suit where there's a cockpit and then she's operating the arms to defeat the end boss. Is that one or two? I
Yes.
can't remember.
I think it's the
two.
end of one. We'll have to do some research and watch.
We're gonna have
both
to
of
do
those
some
this
research
weekend.
because
Yeah.
those are two amazing movies. That's kind of what it looks like, and that's how you were describing the cockpit. And this thing's massive.
It would obviously be cool to walk around in this thing. This would be fun to valet as well.
This is one that would kind of terrify me if a robot revolution was to happen, because you're not winning a fight versus this thing. Might take down a tank. Like, this thing is scary looking. It looks like Optimus Prime.
Oh, should we invite Peter for drinks too? No, God, he's gonna show up in that stupid mech robot again. Jesus,
He brings it everywhere.
it's not just awkward; it's a safety hazard.
So I think there are some use cases for this thing. They're trying
Okay, let's hear it.
Disaster relief might
Okay.
be one. So perhaps like clearing out a lot of heavy, let's say like forestry or destruction, or you know, like if a building falls down or something like that, and they have to go and then lift it up. Like, it kind of can operate like a crane. It can operate like heavy equipment because of the size and lifts heavy things.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I think it might be almost more of a toy.
Yeah, I could maybe see like the Forest Service using it to fight fires, right?
But it's also $3 million.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You could buy a lot of like equipment, human operated equipment. It appears, I from the looks of it, I don't think it's autonomous either. You have to sit inside of it. So it's not, you wouldn't call it a humanoid. It is definitely a robot, and a very high tech one, but it is more of like a transformer that you would pilot this. It's a human piloted one from the cockpit.
I mean, I want it. Like, I want to do that. I want to live my life inside this mech.
Okay, so here's a use case then. It could just be a business where people come and pay to drive it around for an hour and do cool stuff and destroy cars with it.
Yeah, destroy cars with it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you could for 2 hours, you can come, you can pay down, and maybe, I don't know how much it costs, $1,000 for 2 hours or something like that, and then you can come and destroy cars with it. Yeah, if they had that like in Vegas or something like that, I could see people doing that.
Yeah, they might be able to cover their $3 million costs pretty quickly after a couple of years.
Yeah, that's a lot of money though. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
This one could be a little bit more of a pipe dream, but nonetheless, we've reported on it. So the last breakthrough is not going to be a specific robot, actually. So really, the last breakthrough from these robotic conferences in China, and in Japan, isn't the physical robotics, right? The final breakthrough isn't the robot, but the invisible force powering all of them, which is physical AI. So for years, AI has lived on servers, right? Mastering games and languages, as we know with ChatGPT, but now it's getting a body. It's getting embodied, right? Allowing robots to learn from the real world. So previously, robots were just built and programmed and they didn't learn and improve. There wasn't that aspect of it. But with AI, that is changing. And this was the biggest theme across these robotic expos here in 2025. So in China, with the World Robot Conference, there was a massive boom in the humanoid models. There was over 50 manufacturers now, Nick, that are making humanoid robots with more than 100 new robot models. So robots from companies like the Ubitech were shown to perform tasks like quality inspection on cars. So the manufacturing use cases we talked about are coming along quite well. And in Japan, at their robot conference, which is the IREX, the theme was sustainable societies with robotics, and it focused on service industries and disaster applications. So we're seeing this come to life with a new generation of collaborative robots. They're referring to that as cobots, that are even safer and easier for people to use. So the combination of cheaper hardware, like Unitree's G1, that was 16,000, smarter, more adaptable AI means that we are at a turning point with robotics. And the era of a dumb, single task machine is over. And the age of intelligent learning robots is here.
Yeah. So, okay. So from AI that can mimic human actions at like impossible speeds to a 15-foot tall mech that you can actually buy, the breakthroughs of 2025 are laying the foundation for a new reality, a new future. And it feels like we're watching science fiction turn into reality right before our eyes. We are witnessing the birth of a true robotic workforce, one that's intelligent, adaptable, and being woven into every part of our lives. The future isn't just coming, it's already here, and it is truly wild.
Wild. Wow. So, which one of these breakthroughs shocked you the most? I'm talking to the listeners here. Are you excited for a new robot coworker, or are you a little terrified about it? So, let us know in the comments below. And if you want to keep up with technology that is actively reshaping our world, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.